think that like the specificity of like, can I lick your testicle in this way? Do you want me to cup your balls in this way? Are you more sensitive as you get aroused or less sensitive? Can I touch you right here? Should I use 2 fingers? Should I use a toy? Should I use my knuckles? Like, I want to hear all those questions because I think we all need to hear them. I think there's a lot of information out there that's like, communicate, talk, make sure you're clear about your boundaries, but I think we need the specificity that you're offering. I appreciate that a lot.
Okay, sure. If you have any, throw them out, but I like to check on first, like the environment of the room, like fabrics, lights, and temperature, as well as music, if they need music or not. Some people really need music to do things. Of course, we check angles. Are there any angles that you feel uncomfortable being filmed at? But that's just like for our particular business.
It's great.
We ask, I try to make sure with cis men that I'm asking like all the questions, like I said, about the sensitivity of their genitals and where they do and don't like to be touched at certain points in the arousal, because I think that is very different from person to person and usually is a big factor of whether or not they're going to actually enjoy it.
Is everybody rested? Have they eaten food beforehand? Is there enough water and coffee on hand, or whatever anybody's needing? I try to build that little nest so everyone feels safe and has their needs met. It's
usually we work with couples, so we always ask all of their boundaries. Is there a no kissing rule, or is there a he only ejaculates with his partner rule, or she only does this? Like everybody's kind of got some unique things. And sometimes there's like even like ritualistic things where they want to like guide his penis into his, her safely for the first time, and interesting things like that. So we'll see if there's any almost practically rituals that people like to do if they're swapping, for example, so that they feel really comfortable. Like maybe, do you want us to avoid eye contact and you guys look at each other, or what do we need to do here? So I think that's a good one. To just be open to it. Like, we don't have a lot of no's for us when we swap, but other people might. And so that's cool. That's cool. If you guys have a no kissing rule, we don't, but we obviously won't do the kissing thing.
Right.
And so we just gotta sometimes I don't know all the ones to ask. Sometimes people bring something up and I'm like, oh wow, that's a new one. Like I didn't even.
Oh, I have one that I can speak on.
Yeah.
I discovered that somebody that I was having sex with mid live stream, lots of people creating, people had paid to get into like a private show, and my penis got poked by an IUD, and it was pretty painful, and I was not aware that it was even there. I didn't get a fair warning, and I did not know that that was possible, and I am pretty sure I got a urinary tract infection from that, and that was miserable for me, and now I know to ask. Now I know how to make sure that we're all on the same page about that. So
contingencies that you couldn't imagine until it happens to you. I mean, you're talking about environmental and physical comfort. You're talking about physical pleasure and the body. You're talking about safer sex practices. Some of them are more business related for you, but it sounds like all these questions apply across the board. I imagine there's also conversations around language to use, right? Like, how do you like me to refer to your body, to your person, to your name, to your genitals? Are there words that are, red, green, or yellow, meaning I don't want to hear it, I love to hear it, I'm kind of in part, I don't really care either way, I'm neutral. If we were all having these conversations, we'd all probably be having the hotter sex you're having, which really speaks to the fact that when we actually cultivate consent, it's not even about making consent sexy. It's that consent is mandatory. And when you discuss consent in such a nuanced and rich and beautiful way, the pleasure is better, the connection is better, the sex is hotter, the orgasms flow more freely because you're relaxed, right? The body requires the rest and relax response in order to enjoy sexual response, so arousal and then the excitement, plateau, and orgasm. When you go into fight or flight or a stress response, right, with those cortisol spikes, you're not going to be able to enjoy sexual response and pleasure in your body. And simply by having these conversations, you're helping to assuage concerns, you're cultivating intimacy, you're developing trust, and you're laying the groundwork for hotter sex. And it's funny how, when we get into it and you start sharing the questions, we think, well, of course we should ask these things. If you're coming to my house for dinner, I'm going to ask you if you have any food restrictions, any allergies, any preferences. If I'm hotting up your food, as we say here, if I'm spicing up your food, I'm going to want to know, do you like it spicy? Do you like it mild? We ask these questions all the time. A stranger passenger on the takeout line asks me. When I order online, they want to know if I want my pad thai mild, medium, spicy, or Thai spicy, and they're asking my preferences, and it follows that we ought to be doing the same when it comes to sex.